Hey folks, how you doing? Are you well? Because you're looking well. Now, there's no such thing as an essential carb. Is that true? I know you've heard that one before. Hell, I used to say it when I was a keto guy for years. That was one of my, I thought was a knockdown point. I'm going to argue that the people who say this are not making the point they think they're making. In fact, I'm going to argue today that carbs are even more essential, okay, than fats and protein. Bear with me on that. Bottom line, what would happen without glucose? Does the human body need glucose? 100%. If there's no glucose inside the human body, you die. Okay? Okay, the carnivore guy says, but that's not the point. The point is your body can manufacture all the glucose it needs, so therefore we don't need to eat it. That's what non-essential means. We don't need to eat it. It doesn't mean the body doesn't need it. Which is why I think that the term non-essential should be done away with. It makes the average person think that the human body doesn't need carbohydrate. Absolutely 100%. What would happen inside the human body if there was no glucose? Well, your brain's going to shut down, your nervous system's going to shut down, and then you pop your clogs. You're out of here. You're 6 feet under. It's over. So we can see the glucose is 100% essential to the human body. Okay? Here's my argument. It's so essential that the human body has developed a survival mechanism, a backup mechanism to get the glucose even if you don't eat it. We cannot say the same thing about fats and protein, or say essential fats and essential amino acids. We can't say that. There's no backup system that the body has designed, evolved to get those. But it has for carbohydrate. That's huge. That's a big thing. So when you say that carbs aren't essential, you're not making the point you think you're making. They're so essential that the body has developed this backup system. To me, it's like having your electricity at home, or you have this backup generator. Instead of just running your body on electricity, i.e. eating carbohydrate, you run your generator all day instead, okay? This is a survival mechanism. And it's awesome that we have it. It keeps us alive in times of, say, famine, for example. But you're not meant to run your body on it indefinitely. It wasn't created to run your body on indefinitely. It's a backup system. So I think that I've proved that carbs are essential to the human body. If our brains shut down, then the nervous system shuts down, and then we die. They're bloody well essential, right? Let's look then at the amounts of essential fats we need, essential amino acids, and yes, essential carbohydrates, right? Essential fats, folks, it's a few grams a day. That is tiny amounts of essential fats. Omega-3s and omega-6, okay? Your ALA, EPA, DHA, that's your omega-3, tiny. Less than a gram. But up to a gram, but it can be less than a gram, and a few grams of omega-6 that's all you need of essential fatty acids. Look, if you fasted all day, so you're not getting any essential fatty acids, which a lot of these carnivore keto people do, by the way, ironically, and they don't, run out if they don't go into like a fat deficiency. The human body has mechanisms to pull these essential fats from our stored fats. You've plenty of essential fats. So it's not as if you need them every day even. You'll be fine. Amino acids, right? You could maintain positive nitrogen balance just eating potatoes. Potatoes are a complete protein source. So you would get, say, 35, 40 grams of protein just by eating potatoes. I'm not going to argue that potato protein is a fantastic protein source or anything like that, but it's got all the amino acids, including all the essential amino acids. Therefore, you will be covered if you just add potatoes. So the amounts, let's say 12 to 15 grams for the average human of essential amino acids per day. Tiny. You can cover it eating what you would consider to be a carb source like potatoes. So we're talking a few grams of essential fats, 12 to 15 of essential amino acids. Now let's compare that to what we need glucose-wise. And I do mean need. Your brain will run on about 120, 140 grams of glucose. Then once you factor in the rest of your body, what it needs, just baseline requirements, you're up to about 200 grams, or that's 800 calories worth of glucose per day, just to get by, then your energy to do things on top of that. So let's just go baseline needs. A few grams of essential fats, 12 grams of essential amino acids, 200 grams of glucose. Which one does the body need more of? So that's what I'm saying. You're not making the point you think you're making. And I would argue that carbs are more essential. Okay? Not even close. These things aren't even close. Okay? There's more to discuss. So what would happen if you decide, I don't care, I'm going to run my body on the backup generator anyway. Don't care, Mark. That's what I've decided to do. I'm going keto. Okay? In order to mobilize the amino acids to convert them to glucose, because your body will create its own glucose from proteins, from the amino acids from proteins, it's called gluconeogenesis. In order to mobilize those amino acids, your stress hormones will go up. So now you've got elevated cortisol and adrenaline to mobilize the amino acids to convert them to glucose. Not good. You've created a catabolic environment, right? Also, a huge potential for muscle loss. Your body's going to use the protein from the food you eat to convert to glucose, and if there's not enough of that, it's going to tap into your stored protein, which is your muscle tissue. So you're going to break down your muscle tissue and convert it to glucose when you could have just given it the bloody glucose from the start. Why not just give it the glucose at once? So, and by the way, the knock-on effect of having muscle loss is a lower basal metabolic rate, because muscle tissue is metabolically expensive. It burns calories just by sitting there. So the less muscle you have on your body, the less calories you burn every day. So now your metabolic rate is lowered, and you've got stress hormones up the wazoo. You're probably not sleeping well because of the stress hormones. And why are you doing that for? When there was no need. Give your body the glucose at once, folks. Keep your fats low. As I just explained, the human body doesn't need much. Just cover your essential fats. I've been doing this a couple of years and I am good. Very, very good. Trust me. I'm feeling very well. I have much more to say. I'll leave it to another video. But as always, I love you. And there's nothing you can do about it.